Hello, friends, and welcome back to Beans World 77. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be. This is how the channel's gonna go. So I'm gonna do communal posts, basically explaining everything. Um, so at the moment, I'm gonna do the party streams, the Saturday night ones. They're gonna be done over on my other channel, and I've mentioning this on my other channel as well. So I'm streaming over there. Um, and also, I'm streaming like other bits and pieces because, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm also doing the Sega Law like video because so many people have asked for it. Um, and I'm doing pretend and play videos and just loads of videos really. Um, and getting them all released. I have a toy storage video which I'm probably gonna do today or tomorrow. It's not gonna be pretty long because it's like Toy Storage Revolved really, like what the toy closet was gonna be, and I've got like a brand new wardrobe which I didn't really want because like I was happy with the clothes rack, and it's like why the frick do I want a wardrobe? But anyway, the other real rant, to be honest with you, to say the least is, oh yeah, before we get to the real rant, I'm trying to start up a third channel, and I'm gonna try and get that and sort that out. And I'm gonna put all the vlogs on there. I've decided now to put all the vlogs on there, all the radio station stuff, all that on the third channel, and then my main channel, um, I'm gonna do that as like an inclusive gaming and stream channel, and I'm gonna change the name for it because um, no, the Media Mogul will be what it is, and hopefully in a few years, you never know, there'll be a documentary on this channel. But I'm gonna do another channel, move the vlogs over onto there, and then sorry, no, I'm not. I'm gonna not because that'll take a lot of time. What I'm gonna do is the new channel. I'm going to do inclusive gaming and um, just like stuff on there. So yeah, um, and this channel will be what it is. Toy reviews, um, pretend and play, imaginary friends. Uh, yeah, and that's what it is. So yeah, this is gonna be a communal post explaining all this. I'm sick of doing these types of it. Oh yeah, and the rants, the Doctor Who Disney rant, because I've decided that when I'm doing my Doctor Who video, which people are after me doing, where all my Doctor Who videos that I'm going to be doing because people want me to do them, and like there's like the really cool videos that I'm going to do and stuff like that. For those videos, yeah, you'll hear the same exact rant. So my rant is this, okay? I'm gonna say this only once now, even though you'll hear it again. Is the fact that Disney have, and by the way, I'll be saying this on my Magic Silver Ring videos on my other channel. Me and Adam will be talking about it basically a lot. But yeah, Disney have killed Doctor Who. That's basically the be all and end all. Basically, like Disney have literally, they haven't ended Doctor Who because that's not officially, that's not true. You know, but what is official is that BBC no longer have the license to Doctor Who. Disney have. Now, the one saving grace is, and by the way, before I get to saving grace, right? The one issue I have with Disney owning Doctor Who, because basically Disney turn everything into trash. Now, Doctor Who, it isn't difficult to turn Doctor Who into trash because we've seen it. Like, I have actually stopped watching Doctor Who. I've stopped watching it. I watch all the David Tennant stuff. Excuse me. I'll watch Matt Smith and stuff, but you know what Disney have done? They've spit the dummy out the pram because they can't get full rights to the Daleks. And tell you what, right? I'm glad they haven't. Do you know what? Well done, well done. Let's just say, let's applaud the fact that Disney have not got the rights to the Daleks. Because if Disney had rights to the Daleks, you know what they'd do? They'd be, oh, cutie, fluffy cutie, like they did with Darth Vader. We saw a cute version of Darth Vader. And we did. We saw a cute version of Darth Vader. And it's a good job it's a good job Lucas stepped in, like, even though he sold the rights. He said, it's fine you having the rights to all this my creation stuff. He said, but how dare you make Darth Vader good? And it happened because, now Darth Vader already turned good. If you read and watch Return of the Jedi, right? Not Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, right? Darth Vader does turn good. Because you know what makes Darth Vader good? Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker destroyed the Emperor, and Darth Vader wanted to save Luke in the end. But the only reason he saved Luke is because he thought he was going to turn to the dark side all along. But when Vader disappears, when the Emperor disappears, he realizes that Luke has done the right thing. And the Emperor wasn't going to save Darth Vader, because all the Emperor wanted was the Empire. Anyway, if you know that story, then you'll know. But where are we? Oh yeah, by the way, we're doing the Star Wars timeline at some point on the channel. So yeah. But when they did the second trilogy, they focused on Darth Vader growing up. They didn't focus on Darth Vader growing up and then turning good. um, you know, and the other thing they wanted to do was they wanted I'm trying to think what they wanted. But yeah, the fans weren't too happy anyway with what they did to Star Wars. Luckily, it didn't stop me from being a Star Wars fan because there's been a lot of third party production and the thing with Star Wars is even though Disney have destroyed it in a way, they can't destroy the legacy that came before. You know, it's not like Doctor Who where it's easy. You know, the way it's like it can be easily destroyed because, yeah, it can be easily destroyed. You know, and we sort of knew that Star Wars was coming to Disney because if you watch the second Toy Story film, Toy Story 2, there's the same graphics that's used in the second is the same graphics used from the New Hope. Now I thought, is it a copy? Is it sampled? Is it effects that that Pixar were using for the time? Because Pixar were well ahead of their time. But you know that all the Zurg stuff and all the jokes and all the in jokes of that film. Watch the second Toy Story film, and like I'm not saying that like George Lucas didn't collab on that film, by the way, but there was rumors. There was rumors of Buzz Lightyear going into a Star Wars movie. And this was talked for a long, long time. And I remember this was like a rumor. Like, this was a rumor, and we all knew it was a false rumor. But it wasn't exactly false because there were interviews. We saw interviews with George Lucas saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring Buzz Lightyear to I'm gonna bring Buzz Lightyear to to Star Wars." And what we later learnt that George Lucas did collab on Toy Story 2. Because Zurg is definitely Darth Vader, a Darth Vader knockoff character. A very good Darth Vader knockoff, I've got to add. And also Zurg's storyline and like Buzz Lightyear and Zurg, there's that whole thing. And yeah. So I don't have the original Buzz Lightyear, which I'd have loved to have kept, but unfortunately I wasn't doing this channel at the time I got rid of the original Buzz Lightyear, because that would have been a fantastic video. But I did have the original Buzz Lightyear, and that was a fantastic toy to have. We'll probably still have, well, no, Mummy's probably let it go now. But Buzz Lightyear is, I mean, if we still got him, I don't know, I'm going to have to ask Mummy, because I would love to show him off on the channel. I mean, if we haven't got him, I'll tell you now, mine was the original, well, mine actually wasn't the original Buzz Lightyear, because there was the original Buzz Lightyear before the Buzz Lightyear I got. Now, I'm not saying that he was a fake, but he wasn't the movie edition. And the only difference between my one and the movie one was the movie one had the logo on the back. That's all it had on it. And it had like an extra missile thing for it, whatever. And it also came with the sticker pack, with all the missions that you could stick on your wall. I think I had like a poster of whatever it had. I did have a Buzz Lightyear poster as well at the time, which they're still easy to get hold of. They're not like special edition or anything. Like posters are posters in my book. You know, like I think the rarest Buzz Lightyear poster is not even going for a lot of money unless it's signed. But anyway, but yeah, so anyway, getting back to the Doctor Who rant per se, if like Disney, like they haven't got the Daleks, thank the Lord, and they haven't got the TARDIS. Like they use the TARDIS in their episodes, but the TARDIS is not licensed by anybody else. And before I go, if you don't know why, the TARDIS has a bit of a story to it. Because the TARDIS is a police box, right? A blue police box. Now, the there was a bit of a problem because there was one excuse me, there was one blue police box actually left, and they wanted to patent it, but the BBC were like, this is the TARDIS kind of thing. So the BBC, because of all that problem with that, the BBC are the only people that have fully license over the TARDIS. Like even some of the toys, third-party toy companies, you can even get like a toy police box. Because we had this discussion in the shop, and like, so yeah, all police boxes are basically TARDISes by right. So basically, what Disney tried to do quite recently is they tried to license the TARDIS. Now, they'll be able to use the TARDIS, but the BBC still gets that they still have that fully licensed. Disney will never have the TARDIS license. The only time they'll ever get a license for the TARDIS is if the BBC close for good. Then the TARDIS will be fully licensed Disney. But what they'll do about all the police boxes, I don't know. So that's another thing that's maybe we can all discuss and probably speculate over. So yeah, just thought I would put this out, and I'm sorry if I've been moaning that over last night's thing, but I wasn't at fault. Anyway, that's enough on that, folks. Really, that's enough whinging and moaning. as I said. And I want to I want to know who sent me that link, because I went and checked the website and it was really good. There's like 1,000 links on it. It's really going to help. Really going to help. Because I think that's going to be a really important part of Sega lore. The dumped ROMs, the dumped circuit boards. People are saying, oh, that's not important to Sega lore. Well, it is. Oh, it is, boys and girls. And I'm also going to talk about coin mechs for fruit machines. Because when we get to the 90s, there was a licensing coin mech issue. But we're going to hold on that till we do the Sega lore video. I am going to cover Sonic in Sega lore, but Sonic lore is a video I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do with that is it's only going to be a 2-part, because people are doing Sonic the Hedgehog to death. So I think when I do it, I think I'm just going to do part 1 and part 2, and that's it. And that's it, no more. Excuse me. Because the stuff that I want to cover about Sonic is literally has already been covered and people know. But I feel like I just want to cover it. It's just going to wrap it all up, basically. But Sonic the Hedgehog is important to Sega, because when Sonic the Hedgehog started, Sonic 1, when the Sega Mega Drive 2 came out, it was sold with Sonic 1. It was bundled in with Sonic. Sonic 1 was bundled in with the Sega Mega Drive. Or Genesis, wherever you live. But I'm going to call it the Mega Drive, the Sega lore. I'm going to call it the Mega Drive just because I'm from the UK. Or Genesis, if you're in America. But and the second Sega, the Sega Genesis 2 model, was literally the thing with it was that was sort of called the Sonic machine, because it was bundled in with Sonic, and Sonic the Hedgehog was giving Sega the license to print money. Now everyone knows all this. Everybody knows all this. What they don't know is that Sonic became an institution for Sega. You know? Like Mario became an institution for Nintendo, but Sonic was not a rip-off. Not like other consoles were doing. They were all doing Mario rip-offs, whereas Sega, they didn't want to do a rip-off. They just wanted to do a competitor to Mario. And it worked. And it really worked. And another thing as well was that there were a lot of things that came to Sega that was going to be Mario's rival for Sonic, but it never worked. And Yuji Naka came in, and Tom Kalinske was blown off by this whole thing. Unfortunately, Yuji Naka was Sega Japan, and Tom Kalinske was Sega America. So, yeah, and obviously there's a lot of lore where that's concerned. So, yeah. And that is very important in Sega lore. Sega Japan and Sega of America. They're very both, like, towards the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, they were very both different entities. Like, the CD market did better over in Japan than it did over in America and UK for all CD-ROM based systems because they knew what to do. Hence why the PlayStation blew off the market because, and here's the thing, PlayStation blew everybody out of the water in the 90s. Until Xbox came in the 2000s. But, you know, and the Sony PlayStation is... Sorry, have I not been in shot the whole time? Crumbs. Yoo-hoo! I'm here somewhere. Yeah, Sega of PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation came in the 90s, and it was Japanese who invented the PlayStation, not America. And, like, they'd had a go before at doing CD-based consoles, but they were just... Nobody was ready for them. It wasn't the fact that they were good and they could... Like, CD-ROM technology was good, but what it needed was to really show what it could do. The sound, the graphics, you know, the games needed to be more than just... Everything needed to be more than just a game. But the problem was, when people were doing CD-ROM based systems, it was like, oh yeah, well, we could bring this family-based system into the home. But what it was video gamers didn't want a video player and a media player, and gamers didn't want encyclopedias on their console. They didn't want dictionaries on their consoles. What they wanted was to play games. That's all a video gamer ever wanted. They didn't want a machine that could do everything, not like now. They wanted a machine that could play games, and that's what they wanted. And a lot of systems failed with it, and that's why, you know, nobody cared about video games. Simple as. You know, when there was an industry for it. And that's why these systems failed, because they weren't built for the industry. They were just built for the odd consumer who was buying it at the time. Now, don't get me wrong. Nowadays, these systems are for a lot of communities now. You know, there's the Philips CDI community. There's the 3DO community. But the problem was, nobody really fought over those consoles. And, you know, and now growing up, I mean, I loved CD-ROMs as a kid. But when I first had a blast on the PlayStation, there was something that I couldn't get my head around. And I wasn't like my sister. Like, my sister was like, wow, you know. But it was like me, like, wow. You know, when I sat at a PlayStation, I couldn't get why the graphics were so good, why the sound was so good. But the other thing that I couldn't get was the talk of the PlayStation in the 90s. If you knew someone that had a PlayStation, you were in. You know, if you were a PC kid, nobody wanted to know. But if you were a PlayStation, wow, you know, it was easy. I mean, to be honest, I did prefer PC games later on because I really appreciated that PC was... It was a different world for the... You know, the PC was... you know, if the Xbox hadn't taken over, the PC would have been king. But the PlayStation just dominated people's lives. It really did, in a way that no other console was doing for its time. And the PlayStation was it was a talking point. But what was making it a talking point? And even today, the PlayStation still gets talked about. But I definitely want to do PlayStation lore in another video because it does have lore, unfortunately. It has, it came out from the arcades, but not, it didn't, like, the PlayStation didn't come from the arcade era. They came from the future. And that's going to be, like, an interesting video to do because I want to do PlayStation lore. But to understand it, we have to talk about other CD-based systems. So, like, it would start from CD-ROMs, and then it would start from Sony working with Nintendo. So there's a bit of Nintendo lore in there, but Sony didn't really work in the arcades. And when they did, they knew what they were doing because Sony knew exactly what they were doing. Sony built arcade systems. Sony didn't just build a system. They built a whole market around that system. And that was art. That was a whole thing at the time. And when you read about the Japanese market as we did when we were kids, and we were like, wow, this is amazing. People in Japan, they have this whole tradition, but everything's built around the future. Everything's built around, with Sony, it was about tomorrow's world, not today's world, not yesterday's world, tomorrow's world. What are people going to be doing tomorrow? What are people going to be playing tomorrow? What are people going to be listening to tomorrow? What are people going to be discovering tomorrow? And that was a big thing for, and it was right there in people's living rooms. Sony didn't want people going to the arcade, but you've got to remember, even when the PlayStation came out, arcades were still good. Arcades still had better graphics, better sound, and a better experience. Nowadays, people wouldn't know what that was like. And VR hasn't technically ruined everything. It's still, in my mind, and I'm going to say this before I end the video, VR isn't fully, it's still not fully there yet. The experience of VR isn't fully there. It's there, we have it in our hands, but the full VR isn't there. It's the one thing that we can get it in our living rooms, and it gets correct in our living rooms, but the arcades get it slightly wrong. There's only one arcade that does it justice, and that's Gravity Max. But I know what they do. There's a bit of an illusion with Gravity Max. If you ever go to Gravity Max, there's a bit of an illusion there. And that is, they still use full 3D. They use 3D with their VR. And they use full HD as well. So, what can I say, really? If people who are hardcore gamers and they're wanting the experience of the arcade is to go to an arcade and experience and read upon some decent cabinets, because there are some out there. And this is something I think we should all be talking about. But anyway, bye for now.